All right, Eddie, as you recall, I told you that I made a mistake when I got my official ballot. I was voting for Coach of the Year, and I accidentally, this is why he showed up on my ballot, I accidentally hit Nate McMillan. So that was a mistake. But he actually joins us now. Nate, appreciate you sitting down here. So I saw your face, though, when you walked around the corner. You didn't look pleased to see Eddie sitting here.
That's my guy.
That's
Big
your
bruh.
guy. Why is he your big bro?
Because he has always had my back and has taken care of me since our time in Seattle. So it's good to see him.
Now he was pushing for you to win Coach of the Year all year on the show. So how about the just the way things unfolded after Oladipo went down with the injury? How did that impact the team?
Well, it was unfortunate because Victor was, having a good season. We were having a good season at that time, and you never want to see anything like that happen. And I've been in that situation a couple of times where I've seen players have career-ending injuries. And when I ran out on the floor that night, and I just looked at Victor's face, I knew that it was pretty serious, and to find out that he was going to be out for the season, lost for the season. Of course, it certainly hurt our team, but I thought our guys responded. We had to make some adjustments and adapt to being without Victor, and was able to finish the season pretty successful.
How are his spirits right now?
Oh, I talk about, it's two kinds of people. Those, that is sunshine, and then there are clouds. And Victor is sunshine. Whenever you see that guy, you just light up. And, he comes in, he's got a great spirit about him. He's a guy that believes in his faith. And every single day he comes in with that energy, and he just lights up the building. He comes in with his speaker, and he's singing 8:30 in the morning, and that just continues throughout the day.
Now, we did have him on right before the injury or at some point within the last year, and he told us, because you're saying he's sunshine, he told us, and he swore on air, he said that you told him he needed to be an a-hole.
Absolutely. Yeah, because he's a good guy, but when I first got him, we were talking about goals and, where the team was at, and basically the direction we wanted to take. And I just felt like he needed that mindset. Guys, Eddie.
That's what he is.
Michael, those guys who are scorers, and, they put that basketball in the hole. They have a certain mentality when they're out on the floor, that no one can guard me. And you have to really come with that mindset and being a hole in the sense that, you're going to miss some shots. And, sometimes your teammates are going to get frustrated with you. And you have to look past that and understand that this is what you do. This is what you're capable of doing. You have that skill, and you can't be worried about what other people are thinking and how other people are feeling. You have to go out and do your job. And that takes a certain mindset when you're transitioning into that type of player. You can't be concerned about what people, media, fan base, teammates may be saying.
And you've always had to do that, because when you came into the league as a player, I mean, automatically you were in a position where you were playing a lot of minutes, and then toward the near end, you had to give way to Gary Payton, and you had to make an adjustment. And then when you did retire, you went into the coaching part of it, and you became a star early on. I mean, in demand. I mean, you got a huge deal going to Portland, and then things happen, right? And then you had to humble yourself, sit back, be an assistant, and now you've come back with a vengeance. What did you learn in that period, though, of growth as a coach and to this point right now?
Ed, I just had a conversation with our young guys, our young team in the locker room. And, I've watched the way we've played our first two games, and everyone is out there trying to do it by themselves. And there's only a small percentage of players that can do or have that type of success and kind of lead or carry a team in this league. Probably 90%, I don't know the percentage, but probably 90% of the other guys, they need help. You need help out there. You got to play the game the right way. You got to play the game together. And there's a few like Kawhi this year. I mean, he went crazy. You know, Michael, the Kobe's, guys like that who are elite with their skill out there that can dominate a game. But the rest of us need help, and you got to learn to play together and trust your teammates and be there to support and commit to playing team basketball. And that, I didn't have that skill. I didn't have that talent. You know, you couldn't outwork me. I thought I had a great feel for the game, but being that support system, you know, far as getting you the ball. Okay, I know you could put that ball in the hole. You get that ball certain places, and it's you know, it's in your hands at the right time. So that's what I focused on doing. You know, making sure that I delivered the ball, that I defended out on the floor. I tried to play every single possession, and you know, as I told our guys this morning, everybody here in this summer league needs to learn to play together. Because if you could do it by yourself, you wouldn't be out here in summer league playing. And it's all about team basketball. It's all about playing the game the right way. You know, giving that effort. You know, the name on the front of the jersey is more important than that name on the back of the jersey. You play for the Indiana Pacers. That's who you represent. And you need to go out there and represent it.
And I know that used to drive you crazy as a player, right? Because I got some of that. He's a tremendous leader. Yeah. I mean, is that the part, like, when you're coaching that sometimes you just want to reach out and grab a guy and get them to understand that aspect of it? Is that one of the toughest parts for you right now?
Yeah, well, it's about teaching, and it's a different generation of players. You know, we are working with a generation that assume that it's supposed to be there for them, and they're not patient. They want it now, and they, you know, a lot of times they don't want to grind and go through, you know, pay their dues, so to speak, to get to that spot. You know, they want things now, and you know, you have to be patient. You have to coach them and work with them. And you know, I've been able to kind of change. You know, the grabbing those days kind of left. I did grab a couple of times, but you know, those days left me. They called me old school and all of that type stuff. So I'm trying to be new school and communicate with them.
Is Malcolm Brogdon going to make that easier for you? Because when I look at him, I mean, I see a lot of you in that respect. The guy that's just balanced and the guy that's just all about winning.
Well, you know, we did the press conference with Malcolm yesterday, and that kid is impressive. You know, he was impressive from afar, and watching him play the last couple of years in Milwaukee and you know, doing prep game, before the game on Milwaukee and how we wanted to play against them and Malcolm. But listening to him yesterday in the press conference, he was even more impressive. He's going to be a great guard to go into the future with Victor. You know, what Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan has done with that team this offseason, they've done a really good job of setting the foundation. The foundation has been set the last 2 years, but building on that when you bring in a Brogdon, when you bring in a T.J. Warren, when you bring in a Jeremy Lamb, those guys, and we get a healthy Victor, all of those guys 24, 25, 26 years old, some are in their prime, some have not reached their prime. You're getting them at the right time. They'll have 2-3 years to grow and play together. It should be a pretty good team.
Yeah, and you talk about some of the guys you brought in. You also lost some bigger guys. Thad Young is gone. Bogdanovich is gone. And we love that addition for Utah. So do you feel that how do you feel those losses are going to impact you?
Those are big losses. You know, that was a big part of laying that foundation for us the last 2 years. When we made the trade, you know, for Victor and Sabonis, we were really kind of rebuilding, and that was a big part of that, having that veteran leadership and really laying that foundation of how we do things here, how we want to do. He's a pro. He comes to play every single night. He's a big loss. He is a big loss. I call him the glue to our team the last few seasons. I didn't have to worry about him showing up every single day, practice, games. He showed up to play, never pouted about anything, was just a pro. And our guys learned from that. So we lost that. We lost Bogey. Bogey is, I mean, that was a big loss. Both of those guys, they were a major part of really shaping the Pacers the last couple years and going into the future as far as that culture that we wanted to create, the type character that we wanted to bring in. And, those guys were a major part of shaping that. With the loss of them, I was really surprised that we were able to pick up Brogdon, T.J. Warren, and Jeremy Lamb, because going into free agency, I thought Bogey was a done deal that he was coming back. Utah saw that he was a special player and offered him a very nice contract.
48 wins last year. I mean, that's just 2 from 50. That would have been fantastic in your mind. And now, obviously, the Eastern Conference is taking a little step back, obviously, with Boston going through what they're doing. Brooklyn's not going to be ready, we believe, until Durant gets there. So now you're looking at Milwaukee and Toronto.
I hate to cut you off, but we got to quit talking about the East. The East won it.
Yeah, they did. They did win it.
They won it.
Well, go at them. Go at them.
The West is strong, and people continue to talk about the West, and they are very strong. But the East won it last year, and so it's tough out there.
Yeah.
And every game is tough, no matter where you're playing. With Kawhi going to the East, to the West. Toronto is still going to be a very good team. I think they had a winning record when he didn't play last season. So, Boston is going to come back, and they're going to be a good team.
But you got to tell me that. You can't tell me that didn't make you smile when you saw Kawhi leaving and Boston break
Absolutely.
up.
LeBron, oh, you got it. Absolutely. Go.
And Kawhi leaves after winning a championship, which has never been done in NBA history. Guys have retired after being the best player on a championship team, but they've never left. And you talked about how there are certain guys who can do it by themselves, right? There's maybe 10% of the league, maybe 5% of the league can do it.
And they're not doing it by themselves, but they're capable of dominating
exactly
a game.
Now, when you see all these guys going to L.A., right? All these guys going to New York, all these guys going to Miami. You're in a market, and you coached at one in Portland as well. Can you get one of those guys in Indiana?
Well, that's what we're trying to do. And, that's what Kevin Pritchard and Chad and our organization is trying to do. We're trying to, shape that organization where it is a place where we can attract those types of free agents. And, this year we were able to get Malcolm, and that's big for us. Because we haven't had a guy to or sign a free agent like that in a long time. So those are things that we're trying to do as far as our style of play, our culture that we're trying to create, the team that we're trying to put together. Victor is a big part of that, drawing guys and guys wanting to come there and play with him. So those are the things that organizations like ours are trying to do.
You have to be caught in the middle, though, because as a player and now as a coach, and you're looking at the player empowerment now, right?
Yeah.
Well, we couldn't move like that in the past. I always remind people, they talk about, well, Jordan didn't chase. Well, Jordan couldn't chase because he couldn't go get anybody because you couldn't shake loose. Now, guys can just go anywhere. Yeah. As a coach, though, does that scare you that, players with 2-3 year deals can still get out of their deal like Paul George did?
Well, the players have an unbelievable amount of leverage, and they can decide on where they want to play, who they want to play for, what city they want to play in, what owner they want to play for. And, we've seen this in the last 10 years. All of that has been moved. It's like, if I don't want to play for this coach and I want to play for that coach, we've seen players get that coach that they want in there. Okay, and it's the same thing with teammates. You know, if I want to play with this guy, and they have been able to do that. And you know, but I think the league is in good shape. You know, that West, as you mentioned, you know, those guys are tough over there, and everybody has two now. You know, the Clippers have two, and the Lakers have two, and Blazers have two. Houston has two. You know, so everybody has two legit stars on their team, and it's going to be very, very competitive out there.
How much harder does that make it for you to coach guys when you know, hey, if this guy has an issue with me, like I'm hard on this guy, he doesn't like it, then I lose, not the player.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
It really is. I'm going to be me, and you know, hopefully that works. But I can't coach and be dangled, you know, so to speak. I'm going to be me, and you know, work with the guy, and I feel I can make players better. They can certainly help me and make me better, but there are some situations where it just doesn't work out with coaches, and even some of the best coaches, those relationships sometimes they just don't work out. I would say this: most of those guys in situations like that, they appreciate you when you're gone.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that they know really you're working in their best interests, and you know, it takes us to work together to have success. It's not about me; it's about us.
Last one, we let you get out of here. Appreciate all the time. Victor, when do you expect him back?
Really don't know. I will be watching him work out a little bit here in Las Vegas. We can't say, and don't know. So, you know, I'm crossing my fingers as soon as possible.
All right. Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks
All
for
right.
stopping by,
Thank
dealing
you.
with Eddie
Thank you
for
for
a
having
couple of minutes.